Right now on Good Morning America First Look, the White House scrambling to defend a deal now under intense scrutiny as Vice President JD Vance postpones travel and remains in Washington. Severe weather slamming the southeast with damaging winds, heavy rain, and power outages reported across multiple states. We're tracking it all. New trouble at the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool, with crews now dealing with an unexpected issue at the iconic site. Plus, a famous comedian faces new tax charges over millions of dollars in income. New details in the alleged plot to attack the White House UFC event, including the 911 call from the suspect's mother. A new chapter for President Obama as the Obama Center opens today, the moment during yesterday's ceremony that moved him to tears. And a sweet shakeup from M&M's with a major color change in the lineup.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America First Look.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Flay.
And I'm Hannah Patel. We begin with new uncertainty over the next step towards permanently ending the war in Iran. Vice President Vance was supposed to head to Switzerland for the first talks on implementing the deal with Iran, but his trip was postponed.
That delay coming as President Trump faces blowback from members of his own party over the terms of the agreement. ABC's Karen Hua joins us now from Washington. Karen, good morning.
Good morning, Sophie. Even as the White House tries to sell President Trump's Iran agreement as a major foreign policy win, there are new questions about whether the deal can hold. This morning, new questions about what comes next for President Trump's deal with Iran. It comes after the White House announced late last night Vice President JD Vance was postponing a planned trip to Switzerland, where he'd been expected to lead the next round of talks on implementing the agreement. The White House saying the trip's plans had not been finalized, calling the negotiations never simple or predictable. Meanwhile, a growing number of Republicans on Capitol Hill are openly criticizing the deal, arguing it gives too much to Iran.
Iran's left stronger. We are left weaker.
Giving billions of dollars to theocratic lunatics who want to murder us is an exceptionally bad idea.
In a blistering statement, Senator Roger Wicker, the chairman of the Armed Services Committee, says the agreement negotiates away America's gains from the war and is completely out of step with the president's goals. At the White House, Vice President JD Vance insisting Iran won't receive benefits until it changes its behavior. But Iran is already profiting from this deal, which allows it to resume selling oil on the global market, something it could not do before the war, in a move that could deliver billions of dollars to Tehran. Our Mary Bruce pressing the vice president.
Under this deal, they are being allowed now to sell their oil freely. Again, how is that not a financial benefit? And they're being allowed to do that without making any new concrete nuclear commitments. So can you explain how is that not lopsided?
Well, first of all, they've made very concrete nuclear commitments. They have committed to the destruction of the highly enriched stockpile that they have in their possession. But number two, all we've done is lift the blockade in the Straits of Hormuz. We basically returned it to where it was before the conflict. The blockade is off. We put that in after the conflict started. The straits are now open.
And that's not what the deal says. The memorandum does not require Iran to destroy its enriched uranium stockpile. Instead, it states the two sides will continue negotiations over the issue during the next 60 days. Now, the agreement also calls for the war to end on all fronts, including for Israel to stop attacking Hezbollah, the Iranian-backed militant group based in Lebanon. But Israel, which was not involved in these negotiations, has made it clear it will not withdraw. And overnight, Israel's military says it struck Hezbollah targets across Lebanon, with Lebanese officials reporting at least 16 deaths. Back to you.
Still quite a bit to sort out. Karen, thanks. Well, the average price for gas in the U.S. is finally starting to cool off, now dropping back below $4 a gallon since March, according to AAA. Comes after months of volatility tied to the war in Iran and global oil shocks.
Turning to the severe weather and the threat of more flash flooding in the southeast. Louisiana is under a state of emergency after some areas got more than a foot of rain in one day. More rain is on the way while a big cleanup is underway in the Midwest.
This morning, severe weather targeting millions from the south to the northeast. Along the Gulf Coast, remnants of Tropical Storm Arthur unleashing heavy rain and life-threatening flash flooding. In Stone County, Mississippi, rescuers and boats using paddles to pound on windows, pulling multiple people from RVs. The storm's bringing down this massive tree, knocking the storage trailer on its side and turning parking lots into rivers. One SUV left partially submerged. Officials say a road crew member in Franklin County was killed while assisting with storm cleanup operations. In neighboring Louisiana, a state of emergency declared. Outside New Orleans, drone video shows neighborhoods inundated with high water, vehicles stranded along flooded roads, some drivers forced to push their own cars. And at least 2 people were hurt after a likely tornado slammed the area. Meanwhile, in the Midwest, residents are cleaning up after a separate system spawned multiple twisters. Homes and businesses flattened in parts of Illinois, debris scattered across acres of land. One man capturing the moments a tornado ripped through and leveled his home in Effingham.
Oh my gosh, what in the world just happened?
And in Gosport, Indiana, a resident thankful to be alive after he and his wife took shelter in their basement as 130-mile-per-hour winds moved through, the roof of his home blown off.
I moved here in 1957, and we never moved. I just thank the Lord that we got in the basement when I was hurt.
And now, the threat shifting east, with strong storms toppling trees and causing damage in parts of upstate New York.
A flash flood risk remains for the Central Gulf and parts of the southeast through today. We'll check your full forecast in just a few minutes.
More problems for the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool, newly renovated for more than $15 million, with taxpayers footing the bill. First, algae blooms plagued the pool, turning it a murky green color. Well, now the new blue coating is starting to peel away. ABC's Jonathan Karls on the National Mall yesterday, getting a first-hand look.
Just last night, the Trump administration said, and this is an exact quote, "The reflecting pool water is crystal clear." Well, the crews are down here working hard to make that happen. But let me tell you, this water is far from crystal clear.
The company that painted the pool had virtually no experience as a federal contractor. The contract was awarded without going through the competitive bidding process.
A 17-year-old is in custody after allegedly firing shots in New York's Times Square. The incident, captured by EarthCam, shows people running after a fight in which a man was slashed. He is in stable condition. Some people sought safety in a fast food restaurant when the shooting started. Police say no one was struck by the bullets. A gun was recovered from that scene.
Now to the big party here in New York, with an estimated 2 million fans flooding lower Manhattan for the Knicks' first NBA championship parade. The sea of orange and blue stretching for blocks as the city celebrates a title 53 years in the making.
This morning, New York City waking up still abuzz after a decades-long drought finally came to an end. An estimated 2 million fans packed Manhattan to celebrate the Knicks' first NBA championship in 53 years.
This is amazing, and to do it with our family. My daughter, my son is serving in the Navy right now. His girlfriend saw it and ended up reaching out, seeing us. This is really like a once in a lifetime.
For a city that waited generations, it was personal.
Every immigrant kid, your first connection to New York City is the Knicks. Because you don't know anything, you don't know anybody, but you know the park and you know basketball. And when you know that, you learn to love the Knicks.
Fans who couldn't squeeze into viewing areas got creative, climbing on top of sanitation trucks, vans, and street scaffolding to glimpse their heroes. Fans even pushing past a barrier, sprinting to the parade route, hoping for a glimpse. Amid a massive deployment of more than 10,000 officers, police reported 13 arrests. Police even stopping guard Tyler Kolek in the crowd, appearing not to recognize him. But nothing dampened the spirits along the route. Head coach Mike Brown was even spotted jumping in to hug fans.
This championship is about you guys. This is New York City's championship.
At City Hall, the mayor handed out the keys to this city.
What a gift it is to be brought together by pure, unfiltered joy.
And Alicia Keys sent them off with her New York anthem. But the loudest roar belonged to Finals MVP Jalen Brunson.
Damn, New York, we really did it, man. We really did it. Wouldn't trade this for a world.
As for a repeat, odds makers aren't sold. San Antonio is still the favorite to win it all next season.
Time now for your morning weather.
Good morning. Cleaning up from storms on Thursday in the Northeast with lots of wind. We had some tornadoes to the south with the flash flooding from Louisiana all the way to Mississippi and Alabama. Wind reports all the way to the mid-Atlantic. Still some flood threats from Texas all the way to the mid-Atlantic. We're drying out in the northeast, lowering humidity. Showers across the plains. It's nice in the west. The flood threat is from San Antonio all the way to Jacksonville, but it's a level 3 out of 4 from Mobile to Montgomery, up to 4 inches per hour and 6 to 12 inches of additional rain. That's your forecast. I'm ABC News senior meteorologist Lee Goldberg. Have a good weekend.
Coming up, Luigi Mangione's defense strategy shifting again.
Also ahead, comedian Carlos Mencia charged with multiple felony counts, accused of not paying taxes on millions of dollars.
And the moment former President Obama was brought to tears ahead of today's opening of the Obama Center. We're back with an update on Tuesday's plane crash in Laredo, Texas, which killed 1 person while 5 survived. The NTSB has retrieved the plane's black boxes. New video shows a flash of light in the sky just before the plane went down. The pilots, who had reported mechanical issues, have been interviewed by investigators. Luigi Mangione's legal team abruptly reversed course, withdrawing plans to invoke a psychiatric defense. They will no longer claim that Mangione was suffering an extreme emotional disturbance and was not in control of himself when prosecutors say he shot and killed United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. A New York judge had given Mangione's lawyers until yesterday to turn over his psychiatric records. His trial is still set to start in September.
A well-known comedian is now charged with failing to pay his taxes over a 6-year span of time. Carlos Mencia could spend years in prison if convicted. ABC's Andrea Fujii has more.
What's up, y'all? What's up, man?
This morning, comedian Carlos Mencia under arrest, accused of not paying taxes on nearly $9 million of income.
It's actually called a smartphone because it's going to make you smarter.
The stand-up comedian is now charged with 12 felony counts. Prosecutors allege he failed to file personal and business tax returns between 2019 and 2024, resulting in more than $300,000 in unpaid California state taxes.
He is on the California Franchise Tax Board's list of the 500 greatest tax delinquents in both personal and corporate income categories.
The California Franchise Tax Board allegedly sent Mencia 78 payment notices, but they claim he never responded. Mencia began doing stand-up in the 1980s in Los Angeles and in the early 2000s became one of the most popular comics in the country.
We got to talk about this because, of course, it's tax day.
During a 2007 show, he talked about how he thought taxes were important.
Maybe I'm different, but I believe that taxes are a good thing because they're the only reason that keeps us from becoming a third world country like the one that most of us left to be in this great country in the first place.
Mencia has not commented on the latest charges.
I am guessing that Mr. Mencia thought that taxes were maybe a laughing matter, but they're not a laughing matter. It's a matter of fairness.
ABC News has reached out to Mencia's representatives for comment, but has not heard back. Mencia is expected to make his first court appearance on Monday, and if convicted on all 12 counts, could face more than 10 years behind bars. Hannah, Sophie.
Andrea, thanks. Coming up, the Team USA star who's questionable for today's World Cup game.
Also ahead, new details in the alleged plot at the White House UFC event, including a mother's 911 call that set everything in motion. Back now with new details involving the alleged plot to target the UFC event at the White House with President Trump and thousands of others in attendance. ABC News has obtained body cam video showing deputies called to the home of a young suspect, the mother of the 19-year-old alerting authorities.
This morning, newly released body camera footage shows the moment police determined Tyson Proper, who has been charged in that alleged plot to attack a UFC event at the White House, should be taken to a mental health hospital.
Talking with your dad brought up some concerns, and I'd like for you to come with us.
Tyson's mom had called police after she saw him amass this cache of weapons, seen in photographs obtained by ABC News, including an AR-15 rifle, a shotgun, and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. Earlier, Mrs. Proper had made this call to police.
We don't even know what he's wanting to do. He's wanting to leave this weekend and go with a group of people to help, fight fight the corrupt government.
When police initially confront Proper about whether he's planning something violent, he denies it.
Have you had any thoughts of harming people or harming yourself? Nope.
But his mother is worried.
He said hit and run, and then he's like, you hit and run. Like, I'm like, where are you going to be staying? He's like, different places. We're going to be moving around. He's like, it's a hit and run type of thing. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound good.
Prosecutors have charged Proper with conspiracy to commit murder along with 4 other men from California, Nebraska, and Missouri. His attorney is saying in a statement they take the allegations seriously.
Now to the World Cup, with Team USA hoping its star forward can play today against Australia. Christian Pulisic is nursing an injured calf. He's said to be doing much better, but it's still unclear if he'll be ready for today's match. And Mexico scored after a South Korean goalkeeping blunder. Mexico winning 1-0 and becoming the first team to qualify for the second round.
Coming up, why Air Force One may have just taken its final flight.
Plus, the major change coming to the color of M&Ms.
Time to check the pulse. We begin in Chicago with the opening ceremony for the Obama Presidential Center.
There were performances by Stevie Wonder, Bruce Springsteen, and many more. Former Presidents Clinton, Bush, and Biden were all there. And former First Lady Michelle Obama brought her husband to tears.
You told me all those years ago that you couldn't promise me the world, but you could promise me an interesting life. And of course, you outdid yourself and managed to give me both. My husband has exemplified his entire life. Equality, empathy, honesty, inclusion, fairness.
The Obama Presidential Center opens to the public today. Tickets to get into the museum portion are sold out through November.
Wow.
A final ride for a plane that's carried presidents for 35 years.
After President Trump returned from France, the White House announced the retirement of the Boeing 747 used as Air Force One. Posting, "Well done, good and faithful servant." The government is transitioning to a new generation of presidential aircraft, starting with a jet donated by Qatar.
Next, you won't be seeing naturally colored blue or brown M&Ms anytime soon.
Yeah, the other traditional colors will be included when the candies go on sale in August without artificial dyes. The Wall Street Journal reports Mars is having problems getting blues and browns correctly colored using those new natural ingredients. It'll be sad to miss them for a minute, but I'm sure they'll get it down.
Yeah, it almost looks like a Halloween collection without them.
Yeah, top headlines next. Checking more top stories, Vice President JD Vance delayed his trip to Switzerland and planned talks with Iran have been postponed. And Israel says 4 soldiers were killed this morning as fighting intensifies in Lebanon.
Tulsi Gabbard has officially resigned as Director of National Intelligence nearly 2 weeks earlier than initially planned. Housing official Bill Pulte will step in as acting DNI, even though he has no experience in intelligence or national security.
A preliminary report from the NTSB about last month's medical plane crash in New Mexico, which killed 4 people, says the plane's GPS system malfunctioned because the military was jamming signals. It also says pilots had been warned about the jamming beforehand. Still, the report does not call this the cause of the crash.
Today's weather, clear across the west, but more heavy rain and likely flash flooding in the southeast. The rain extends to the mid-Atlantic coast. And finally, ahead of Father's Day, a father and daughter in perfect harmony.
Here's Danny New.
Well, I've been afraid of changing.
This Father's Day weekend, we're meeting a dad and daughter with harmony so beloved. Singer Luke Combs described this cover of Landslide as a, quote, top 10 thing my ears have ever heard.
Was that something you guys knew, that your voices blended together so beautifully?
I mean, not really. We had been singing around the house. I mean, yeah, it sounds good, but we didn't know it would sound, as good as it did.
Over the past 6 months, Talia and her father, Derrick, have been serenading millions online from their Georgia home. They've both been singing in church for most of their lives, and music has always been something they've bonded over.
I used to always teach her and her brother songs, and I teach it one time and she has a note just like that.
However, performing covers on social media together actually kind of started as an accident. Talia was home from college on winter break and was about to record a Shania Twain cover with her friend one night when...
What song?
You're still the one, Shania Twain. You're still the one I run to.
Derrick wandered in with his can of Sprite, immediately harmonized with them,
My job is done.
and then just went about his evening. But when Talia got back to college,
I was posting by myself, and the comments were like, okay, now do this song with your dad. And I'm like, my dad is 4 hours away.
thankfully Derrick had no problem coming to visit his daughter at her dorm, and now Talia is home for summer break so they can record even more duets together, which, for Derrick,
it's wild to see that she still has that same passion for singing with me at the tender age of 18.
And guys, Talia is majoring in vocal music education with plans to become an elementary school music teacher.
Oh, I love it. And happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. That's your GMA First Look.
Have a great weekend.